Welcome to the Runner Dudes podcast. Everyone is welcome. Runners are welcome. Walkers are welcome. The running curious are welcome. We're going to widen the door to running and soften the impact for anyone willing to lace up and show up. Today can be the day you take the first steps towards physical, mental, and spiritual well-being and become the person you are intended to be. We hope to inform, inspire, listen, learn, and help you start your own running journey, all while being moderately funny and low-key entertaining. Let's go, baby. So this is going to be episode 1. We're in season 2.
Yeah.
And usually in season 2 is when things start to get spicy.
Yeah, that's usually when a sitcom hits its stride.
It's really...
We know who the characters are.
Yes, we know what to expect. We know what their arc is starting to look like.
Yeah.
Sopranos was season 3.
Mm.
That's when things really started to ramp up. Stranger Things for me was season 3.
Yeah.
And so I've got the Titans hat on.
Mm-hmm.
And I want this to be on camera so everyone knows that I was with them in the valley. And once we get John Harbaugh as our coach and we're winning, I don't want everybody to be like, oh, look at this Johnny come lately. No. I've been here the whole time.
Since day one.
I've been here since day one, baby. And so Runner Dudes podcast, season 2, episode 1. I'm excited.
We're back.
This has been great. We cannot say we're back. And we're back. Signature. We cannot say thank you enough for all that has tuned in for our first season and been with us since the beginning and kind of watched us bump our heads and struggle.
Too, that have agreed to be sweaty and uncomfortable.
Yes, we've had some really good guests. We've got some great guests coming up this season. And so we want to start out. Sometimes we do this, sometimes we don't. We'll say thank you to Jonathan, Willow Window. We got my man Dusty from Express Footwear.
And come see me.
Come see Dusty. He's got all the gear. We got Jimmy Thorpe.
Sight and Sound Creative.
I'm Michael England from Runner Dudes Podcast and Runner Dudes Coaching. We've got coming up this year, still got time to get ready for our spring races and certainly not too early to start thinking about fall marathons. If you want to get some training and some coaching, I can certainly help walk you through that and help you navigate that. So we're going to get into this. We are in the beginning of the year, and this is a subject we have talked about before, and it is a sore subject. Oftentimes this is something I feel like this is a universal human experience, and it is new year, new me.
Yeah.
Right. And so everybody comes out of the gate hot. They've got some things they want to change about their life. I've talked about this before, how motivation is powerful in the beginning, but it's a little bit like a bottle rocket,
Fizzles out.
It kind of, it's boom, snap, over. And so we want to talk about how we can get past that. My question to Dusty is, have you ever been a New Year's resolution guy? And what were some of your resolutions, if you'd ever done one?
Yeah, I guess mainly for if you're concerned with fitness, a lot of people always, they're going to join a gym. I've never been that type of person, but I think I've always either want to change my being more purpose driven.
Yeah.
And always, everybody wants to eat clean. They say they're going to, do this and do that.
I've never said that.
Except for one person.
Don't put that evil on me.
Do not. But I think that's probably the ones.
Yes.
Most of the time, I try to do something to where, either I want to be more thankful for things. I want to be more, show more gratitude.
Yeah.
I think the older that I've gotten, I concentrate on things like that versus really more of a broad. I think fitness itself is very broad. It's not something that I don't think you can really gauge that by the first of the year. Because that's I don't think something's always new. Yeah. Once the shiny wears off, then
that's right.
You gotta. I don't know. I've tried to make my especially my running. I've tried to make my running balance more with life and not to. I guess it's really funny that I don't necessarily want running to alter my life.
Your schedule, or your time with your family.
I want it to mesh with my life,
right?
That it makes it more, that it makes me more of a healthy person,
right?
And it doesn't make me more, because running's funny, fitness is funny. You can see a person's appearance and think, and that guy right there's got it together. That lady right there's got it together, and could be the absolute disaster on the inside, really.
Sure, no doubt. Yeah.
I guess for New Year's, always try to live a more purposeful life in that new year and be better than what you were.
Yeah.
I think that's as far as old. Used to, you always want to,
Yeah.
I want my bench to be 25 pounds heavier.
That's what I mean. But, it's funny you say that because like this is what we're going to get into about specific goals. And I feel like specificity in anything helps because, and definitely making I don't want to give the show away here, but small steps, baby steps. And so we'll get into that in the show. I was never a resolution guy. And before I got sober, I was never a resolution guy because I knew this is a joke. I'm not, whether it was to, control my drinking more or quit smoking or whatever, I knew that was going to last a day or two. We're going to burn that down real quick. And I'm not even going to waste anybody's time with saying it. Yeah. And so, Jimmy, have you been a New Year, New Me guy or had any resolutions and what's your experience been?
I think I'm more like Dusty. My birthday's in January. And so I'm extra like in my feelings about the new and like what's come, and trying to be, a man of faith, trying to think about, well, what would the Lord want for my life? And I get all in my head and in my heart about these things. And I've, when I was younger, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll full send on an idea. And I'm old enough where I've failed enough times where I know that there's not a lot of, and when it comes to me and me saying I'm going to do a thing, like, I don't know, I'm much more, I don't know. I need it to hit whatever it is that I'm supposed to be doing. It needs to hit my head first where I understand it with my mind. And it needs to make it to my heart.
Sure.
And if it can get there, then I'll start acting upon it. I can't simply know better.
Sure.
I have to feel it in order to be motivated to do that thing. And it's sad to say that out loud because there's things I'd love to change about myself where it's like, boy, I'd really think that some of these things would have hit my heart by now. But I think it's just it's a process. And to Dusty's point, it's like there's a lot of stuff I've prioritized that other people haven't.
Yeah.
That, I can point to family, career choices I've made that are quite good for me.
You said one word that a lot of people don't like, and that has a lot to do with New Year is failure.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that.
Your failure is going to accumulate into growth.
It can.
And a lot of people don't realize that can happen.
Yeah.
They think failure is a complete downslide.
Yeah.
And it's over.
Yeah, it's over. It's done. I think that's one big reason why New Year's, New Me, New Year's resolutions, when they do just kind of fizzle out, it's because they had a slight taste of failure or a setback.
We're done.
And we're done.
When my life began to change in a meaningful way, whether it was with sobriety, whether it was with a spiritual journey, whether it was with mental health, physical health, and into my running, man, you're going to have an injury. You're going to have a setback. And what you learn is, I had an aha moment, was that failure is a part of the process.
Yeah.
And it has to be a part of the process. And learning that you're going to you hear coaches, and I heard it my whole life screaming about adversity. Bobby Wilder, I enjoy watching his videos, the head football coach at Tennessee Tech, and he talks about what are you going to do when you face adversity. Yeah. And it's not about Tennessee Tech football. This is about when you become a man and you're a husband and a father and a leader of your church and your community, and you face that adversity, how are you going to respond to it? And so oftentimes, like you said, you've got this thing teed up and it's a New Year's resolution, and the second that you miss that one day at the gym, you're like, we're done here.
We're done.
I guess I should say resolutions impact my behavior, but a change of heart affects my intentions.
Yeah.
And I want to change my intention.
Yeah.
I want to change my why. I want to have a good reason and a heartfelt reason to pursue a change in my life. And I think I've made enough declarations to know that it might change my behavior for a short time, but it doesn't have the shelf life. It doesn't last.
Yeah. We'll talk about that too. It's a big part of the process, or a big part of the recipe for success is knowing your why. And so we'll get into that. So I want to start off, me and Jimmy were talking about before we started recording this one. When you do a podcast, and I knew that this was going to be lighthearted. We were not going to be getting into or dipping into any kind of controversial topics. But we are blathering about, and oftentimes things can get said, and then you put it out there for public consumption, and they can take it and interpret it how they choose, and you have to be prepared for that. And I am bad, and I have to apologize. I have oftentimes, it's not necessarily what I said, it's what I didn't say.
Yeah.
And so I won't finish a thought. And so we had an episode where we were talking about motivation versus discipline. And I made the comment that motivation is crap, right? And so I still believe that, you got to have more than motivation. My point was that you have to take that motivation and you have to somehow turn it into a consistent, disciplined plan.
Yeah.
And then I made the comment that gyms use motivation to sell memberships.
Yeah.
And that's where I ended the conversation. That's where I ended the thought. We ended off talking about something else. First of all, I did not mean that there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
Like if you're a gym owner, and I had one of my friends is a gym owner, EJ Williams and Jerry Pugh, they own Workout Anytime. Wonderful facility. And so I think they have one of the best gyms that there is available. And if you're going to own a gym, you need to take all these individuals that are excited about changing their life. You offer the best equipment, the best opportunity to do such.
Yeah.
And so they should absolutely be using this time of the year to sign people up.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault when people stop coming. As you said, they kind of count on it.
I mean, it's probably the bankroll for a lot of things.
Sure. If everybody who signed up came every single day, they would wear their equipment out.
They would have, yeah.
Yeah, and so that was not my intention. That's not what I meant. And so a gym membership is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And it is, honestly, it's how I started my journey, was I signed up for a gym. And what happened was, for the first time in my life, I actually started going.
Yeah.
And so there's no magic inherent in just simply signing up for a gym membership. But if you want to get fit and you don't have tens of thousands of dollars to buy all the equipment for your home, that's certainly where you can start. So I wanted to get that out of the way, get a little house cleaning done.
Yeah.
I did not mean to offend or say that there's anything wrong with a gym membership, because there is not. I have a gym membership.
And we're all grown too, like I spent a long time of my working life in ministry. And people have a lot to say about that.
Yeah.
And I've been told things to my face about all pastors are this. And you're like, some not
right.
all,
yeah, right.
but
Maybe
we're all
me.
grown. And my wife was a teacher. Teachers are just in it for the paycheck. Is like,
right. Yeah, right.
Some, not all,
right.
But we have to realize that it's not just a soundbite.
Right.
It's like you're just trying to make a greater point. So
most folks that are like that are probably in a position, or you don't. I guess you can't overlook that they're in a point in their life. They're probably looking for something. They see that you have something they probably don't have, and they don't like you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the episode, we're going to be talking about National Quitters Day. And so that's a real thing. And it is, I had to Google it. I looked it up. And so the second Friday in January is National Quitters Day. And I didn't know this. And so, but it makes sense. It tracks. It's basically that 2-week period where you've been to the gym. It's, first of all, it is cram packed. Anytime you've been to a gym in the first couple weeks of the new year, it is never busier. And the vast majority of New Year's resolutions are abandoned by that second Friday. I want to go back into what we started this whole thing with, because I think what ultimately helps with success is like your mental health journey and your struggles because of the injuries that you had through your military career had kind of snowballed. It took you years to get into that dark place. And my point is, it was going to take you years to get out. I feel like we are sold in America this fast food idea that 90 days, I can fix anything's wrong with you.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
No, definitely not. And I was that way too. And a lot of my injury that I saw, although it was not physical that you could see, it's stuff that you don't even really know until you start, until you have to have help to help reveal some of that stuff to you. And then you have to be honest with yourself.
Sure.
And so that you actually know that there's really nothing that's wrong with that. And then it's becoming sharing that. I'm a firm believer, and I had to be made a firm believer in that. It's sharing stuff like that, especially with mental health, I think is quite possibly one of the only ways to ever begin a healing process with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know or you don't share, you can't get help, or you don't even know. Like you couldn't even know who you might be in the presence of that could possibly offer some help to you. And so, I mean, I believe that too. And the National Quitters Day, I can kind of I see how that kind of plays in with all that too. I mean, you can think about all these things that you want to make better, and usually within that 2-week period, then you can probably think is just as many reasons to not do or to undo what you were just doing to be better. Yeah, like it's a whole lot easier just to do this.
Well, for me, it was in my sobriety journey, same thing. It took me years. It took me a lifetime to get into the pickle that I was in, man, and it took me a lifetime to get into the hole that I was in. And I didn't like the idea that I wasn't going to be able to abracadabra this thing back to healthy overnight. And it's kind of like they talk about it in the big book of AA. When you go down in the storm cellar, tornado rages, right? And then you come out of the storm cellar and you survey the damage, and it's just like, where do we even begin, right? And that's what I got sober. I say not sober when I wasn't drunk anymore, right? I got 24 hours or 48 hours from my last drink, and now I'm starting to kind of survey the wreckage that was my life. It's like, oh my gosh, this is going to take some time. And then that fear response kicks in, and it's like, you know what? This is too much. I can't do this in a week or two. I don't even want to mess with it. And I'm thinking, let's run beer store, liquor store, forget it.
Yeah.
And so when I first finally got that help, and I had a sponsor, and he started walking me through this thing, and I first started to see that, okay, this is starting to work. That's when I got a little bit of traction.
Yeah.
And I saw that if I just keep doing this, give time, it will work. And so that is, I think, a thing that has to be part of your New Year's resolution is consistency and discipline. And to the original, what you were talking about earlier about specificity with your goals, that is one of the things I've got here. I've got a list of 10 things. Make the goal specific and realistic. Vague goals fade fast. I feel like I get what you're saying with your goals.
Yeah.
You're just trying to, be more grateful and all these things. But if you really do have like a fitness goal, we can't say to ourselves, I want to drop 100 pounds in 6 months.
Yeah, right.
This is unrealistic.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I found, bear with me, I found this today, as a matter of fact. I sent it to my wife, and I loved it so much. We think that we got to get in the gym, no pain, no gain. I got to get in here and bust out all these weights and do all this stuff. One of my things I love is the antidote to stress isn't rest, it's walking. Walking is restorative, it's calming, it removes the stress from the brain and diverts it into the body. It is, if you're stressed, go for a walk. If you want to burn fat, go for a walk. If you want to live longer, go for a walk. If you want to be creative, go for a walk. If you want to solve a problem, go for a walk. And if you want to be a better version of yourself, go for a walk. I tell people all the time, I've got people who I'm coaching right now, that's where we're at. We are at walk. Would you agree with this?
100%. I feel like there's a lot of things that you can do to cope with things like that. Mm-hmm. And you said rest. There's mindfulness exercises that people suggest that you do, but still just being very simple and deliberate. And like you said, go for a walk, get outside, breathe some clean air.
Yes.
And that's going to kind of help push the reset button.
Yes. And in the beginning,
100%, I believe that.
One of my very close friends, we talked the other day on the phone about New Year, New Me, and he said, Michael, he's 49 years old. He's going to be 50 this year. He said, I'm heavier than I've ever been. He said, I feel worse than I've ever felt. And I said, I'm going to send you a plan. And he's like, dude, I'm not a runner. I can't be a runner. I said, wait till I send the plan, bro. Let's get the plan first.
Yeah.
And I sent him the plan, and it was Monday, 1 mile walk. He lives in one of these neighborhoods. He's blessed to be in a neighborhood that you can just, it's not main roads. It's a neighborhood. And I said, 1 mile walk, Tuesday off, Wednesday, 1 mile walk, Thursday off, Friday, 1 mile walk. And he was like, oh, I can do this. I think we all think that it has to be this huge, like 80s montage
of like,
Oh, but it shouldn't have.
Rocky in the cabin, working out. And that
You can do all of it in 4 days.
that's right. 180 song,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, man.
And you're going to look like Rocky.
You're ready.
And you're ready. And we can get there, but let's start with a walk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, don't start hanging up a cow's dead carcass and pounding on it.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody necessarily likes the hard work that goes behind stuff like that. They don't realize that it's going to be hard. But I mean, I believe that 100% that's what really kind of scares people off from stuff like that. It's being we're in a world now that you are really made to not venture outside someone. You don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. And I mean, I think if you're not willing to be outside your comfort zone, you're not allowing any room for any kind of internal or external growth.
Facts.
Spiritually, mentally, for sure. If you're going to be, if you're going to live in this tunnel or in this little bubble where you can't allow yourself to do that, or you're just going to kind of control your own thermostat to where you just feel comfortable.
You talk about that a lot. I love the thermostat analogy, bro.
I just don't see where there's any where you can expect any growth at all or anything to get any better if you're not willing to. I'm not necessarily, like you said, you don't have to go out here and just beat yourself to death to where you feel like you're run down. But
yes, people talk to me oftentimes or have made the comment that I'm addicted to running, and that annoys the absolute piss out of me. And because running isn't alcohol was my solution. Alcohol was my easy button. Alcohol was what took all the thoughts away. And like we talk about in AA, I said this on another podcast the other day, or maybe I said it on the radio with Jason and Sheila. That's what it was. One of the things we say when we get sober is the good news is you get your feelings back.
Yeah.
The bad news is you get your feelings back.
Yeah.
And because my whole life, if I felt anything that challenged me, if I felt anything that the thermostat, alcohol was my thermostat, bro. That discomfort showed up. I could have me 4 drinks and that all went away. Now, running is not that at all. Running requires me to be disciplined.
Yeah.
There are a lot of days where, take today, for example, it's going to be by the time we finish up here, I run some errands, I do some things. It's going to be 4:30, 5 o'clock. I've had a long day. I've been up since 5:30 a.m. I still got 7 miles to run. And so I could just as easily kick my shoes off, throw my feet up and call it a day. But I've got goals.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to use discipline. I'm not addicted to it. This is not something I'm compulsively doing. I would just as soon go home with the Taco Bell number 7 and call it a day, but I'm going to use discipline because I know where I want to get. And so
I've been on the opposite end of that, to where usually running is more about discipline. It is about focus. It's about the intent, that, being very purposeful with that and what it does, how it helps shape my life. But I've been on the opposite end, to where I substituted all of the good things about running. I used it compulsively.
Sure.
Because then, hey, guess what? If I felt tired, where I didn't want to let my mind rest, I would just go run. I might run 2-3 times a day. I might put in 16, 18 miles a day. And that was compulsive, and that was more damaging to my mental and to my physical health more than it was beneficial.
Yeah.
I've been on that opposite end, and I always try to caution people about that, because it's strange to me that there are a lot of people that run that have have had a run in with some type of a mental health, or have had something that they can relate to mental health.
Yeah.
And I know where I was at in a few years with that running, and I look like a thoroughbred, but I was beat down.
Yeah.
Beat down.
Yeah. That is true. I mean, everything can be abused. I heard someone sharing their story about recovery one day, and they talked about how they had abused everything in their life. If it could be abused, they abused it. And I identified with that. That's how I was, especially when I was in my drinking days, cars, you name it. Anything that there was a way that I could abuse it, I would. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's telling when someone would openly criticize you, let's say, and say that, oh, you're addicted to running. First of all, what a jerk. But second, it's like those are the same people that didn't love you enough to be like, hey man, you might have a drinking problem.
Sure. No.
They're happy to levy criticism on something that's ostensibly positive.
You know what I think
they're
it is?
unwilling to meet you in the hardship, and they're projecting what they wish they were.
I think
life.
People like that too are searching for something, and they might see what this has done for you, or possibly could do.
They're like poo-pooing it.
Yeah, it's like.
Well, I think that you nailed it there. I think that the people who have said this to me, they like to say that because then that takes away any responsibility that they have for that. Maybe they could do it. I can't do what he's doing because he's addicted to it.
Yeah, you have to be a crazy person to.
You have to be mentally unwell.
No. Yeah, right.
To do what you're doing. And so it used to, what's so funny as we're getting off in the deep end of the pool here about recovery, which is fine. But things that used to eat my lunch. When someone would say I was addicted to running, I would like, and now I'm like, yep. I'm addicted to running. Have a good day. Because I don't have to.
I snorted 7 miles.
I mainlined 7 miles this morning. I'm high as a kite right now. And so once and I had to really pray about it and think about, am I addicted to running? And I was like, no. Like a lot of times I do look forward to my runs, but a lot of times I don't. And so it does require discipline.
You've got to understand everybody is in their own season of life with whatever they're doing.
True.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you may be in and they don't understand, like, hey, listen, my short-term goals for this year are this, this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
So that requires this much out of me for my running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, like we said, run slow said no runner ever.
No runner ever.
Nobody's going to sign up for 3 races and then just go home and put their feet up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's another thing we talk about. Start small. You got to start small, depending on how. You get the first thing you got to do is you got to put. We talk about in AA. You have to put the shovel down.
Yeah.
You got to stop digging the hole first.
Yeah.
And so what you want to do is start small. That's why I shared that thing about walking. I think we so often think that it has to be this grandiose thing. So you want to definitely, if you've got a New Year's resolution and it's a fitness and it's tied to some sort of fitness activity, you want to go slow. Track your progress. We talk about Strava, but again, be guarded that it doesn't become toxic and you don't compare. I think we often do. Compare is the thief of joy. And so we don't want to compare ourselves to others and their progress.
All those apps are great tools.
They are.
For that can help. And some people need that structure. Some people need zero structure.
Yes.
But some people need that to keep them, in a routine.
Yes.
Or they're a person that likes to document everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's all good.
Yeah. Another thing we talk about is get accountability. When I first started my fitness journey, when I started my sobriety journey, I got a sponsor. This was somebody that he said, hey, I need you to call me. And so every day, lunchtime, I knew I was going to call that guy. Daniel Van Winkle was meeting me at the gym. I knew he was going to be there. I better not ask him to be there at 4 a.m. if I'm not going to show up at 4 a.m. And so that accountability helps for sure.
Same thing. I can speak for two personal experiences. One thing would be as far as my church family. If you have a younger person that is trying to live a more purposeful or a Christ-like life, they need someone that they can. An example for them. So then, you're there for them. You're there for accountability and to help guide them.
Sure.
That's your responsibility if you're going to be that person. The other one would be, just like you said, you need somebody to help with accountability or to bring you in. Lynn Burnett was that for me with the Run Club.
Yeah.
He kind of...
He's a local legend.
And honestly, I didn't know him that way. Sure. I still don't. I know him as a friend, and he took enough interest in me. He knew I was running solo and doing all my own stuff. It's like, hey, man, you should come run with us. And then it was funny because he would always make sure like he was there to help kind of integrate me with everybody else. And then once it was that, it was good. So I think everybody needs kind of that person or someone to help mentor them or to be an example for them for sure.
Yeah. Luke Skywalker needed Obi-Wan Kenobi, bro. You know what I mean? So everybody needs somebody to hold them accountable. But be flexible, not perfect. And for me, when I read that, it sounds to me like we have a saying in AA recovery is it's about progress, not perfection. And so just because, let's say that the plan fell apart today, well, that doesn't mean that you can't try again tomorrow.
Right.
And so I feel like we talked about earlier in this episode is failure is part of the process.
Right.
Life is going to get in the way.
Yeah.
We've got people that you've got jobs, you've got kids, you've got church that you've got to go to. And sometimes it's easy to put your fitness and yourself on the back burner because these are all admirable things that you're doing. You're not sitting at home on the couch eating Cheetos.
No.
You're living your life.
Yes.
And so it's easy to push these things to the side. And so don't beat yourself up if you get to the end of a day and you've not done anything for your physical journey, your fitness journey. Tomorrow's another day.
Yeah.
If you did your best today, you did your best today, but let's regroup and let's go get something done. And so that's one of the things. And we'll wrap this up with one of my favorite quotes is, once you know your why, you can overcome any how.
Sure.
And so early in my sobriety and my running, I had some tough days, and I had some days where I wasn't sure I wanted to do this anymore. And so I went back to that. Why did I start?
Yeah.
And so you said that earlier about your why.
It's just trying to find what's my motivation, what's my intention, and trying back to our faith, like trying to align that with what I believe God would have for me, trying to put my effort and intention in the right spot. Because I have all kinds of thoughts, mostly from failures. But one thought I had was like, every dude probably thinks like they're the one. Like you mentioned, I'm going to lose 100 pounds. And it's like, no, like the goal ought to be, I want to be able to go on walks with my family and conversate and not be winded. And so you like work toward that. And I'm speaking from experience, like learn. It's not, well, I want to run. You don't go from 0 to marathon. It's like, you're not that guy. There's no way you can do it in one day, but whatever you're going for, you may blast it out for the first 2 weeks of January and really not want to do it anymore. Or you can be realistic about your why and, okay, this is my why. And how can I reverse engineer because goals and determinations, I'm all for it. It's just, I've never succeeded at being a teetotaler of like, that's my aim and I'm doing this, I've only succeeded at certain things is by reverse engineering back from the end goal and then breaking it up into tiny things and being reinforced by my why of like, well, okay, I'm doing this because I want to do this. I want to, I
would almost dare to say that that's probably most of the success with stuff like that has had to have happened that way versus 100 miles an hour, full system go. Is almost doomed to failure to then not liking it or not wanting to do it anymore.
It is doomed to failure. I had that conversation with any runner, especially new runners. I tell them, just we've had a conversation with someone recently where they were shocked to find out that we were going to slow down. We're going to, and it is that Mr. Miyagi moment where you're like, why am I doing it like this? This is we're supposed to be getting something done here.
Yeah.
You are getting something done. And now you're doing it in a way that you are going to enjoy.
Yeah.
And so you cannot dread it. I know so many people have such a negative memory of PE, right? They used to make us do PE after lunch, right? And then we'd have to sweaty after that go to a class. Like what crazy person came up with this? And so if you've lived with that idea of fitness your whole life, of course it seems like something that's not fun. And then you apply it to no pain, no gain, and you're going to very quickly quit. And so I tell my runners, I'm like, we're going to slow down. And if you ever find yourself not having fun, you're going too fast, you know? And so to me, that is the overwhelming thing here is you've got to find a plan that is manageable, that has small, specific goals, and you've got to go slow. And so we talk about, I know we beat that horse to death on this podcast, but I see it all the time.
Well, I think there's something to it to tell people a lot of times a lot of folks, when they do take on something new, or if they're critique. They don't want to be told the things they did wrong.
Sure.
And that's pretty easy to do when you're coaching any kind of a sport. When you're doing that, you're always telling someone, this is what you're doing wrong. I feel like there's a different approach that you can take, and that may be saying that, people are just soft and can't handle the truth. But if you build them up with more positive, positive thoughts and things, hey, listen, this is what you're doing right. You're doing all the things right. Just keep doing all the things right, and you'll be fine. But I think we're real quick to say,
yes,
well, this is why you didn't do this. It's because you suck.
Well,
or something like that.
And if you're willing, I tell somebody who's willing to go out and run too fast, you're willing to do it this way. Let's slow it down and make it more
enjoyable.
more enjoyable, make it more palatable.
Yeah.
And so now we got something.
Yeah.
If this is something that you actually look forward to each day, you're going to stick to it. And so I think that nails my list down here, guys. Anything y'all want to add to this episode?
Pretty solid.
We've got this is the time of year that we're all, we're starting over. We got some plans. We've got some spring races, fall races, just one day at a time, this thing, man.
You got anything on the books this year?
Yeah. So maybe doing the full at Cummins.
Yeah.
February. Definitely going to run Covenant.
You're going to try to pace it with JP?
I'm going to pace it with JP. I think he's going to have a good day.
Yeah.
Got the Cupid Chase. We're going to push Bradley. And Ainsley's Angels is going to be there. And then Knoxville Covenant, I'm going to race the half marathon. And then we're going to shoot for the marathon again in December. What about you?
So I'm going to tell this. It's a pretty big, lofty goal.
Let's go.
But my son, Merrick, has gotten into, he's going to run cross country this year.
Let's go.
He's gotten into running. He's actually naturally very good at it. So the turkey trot this year.
Yes.
For 25, he was really disappointed because he didn't win.
Didn't win the turkey trot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
He was really tough on
Tennessee
himself.
Tech cross country was there.
Yeah. Might I add that I tried to put together an all-star team.
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to Carter Bradford.
Carter and Zach.
He absolutely blistered that.
Animals.
And his bib did not register the time.
That's crazy.
But
they passed me pretty disrespectfully, bro.
That was the plan.
That was the plan. They blew by me and Bradley like we were sitting still.
Going back to Merrick, he told me, he's like, okay, I want to run the next 5K. I want to do a 5K in under 20 minutes.
Oh, well, that's strong, bro.
So he's actually really close to that right now. I am not.
That's crazy.
But we're going to run the Cupid's Chase and see what happens.
Okay.
I'm signed up. I'm going to run. I'm going to do the time trial in Oak Ridge to Kingston again this year, the half.
Very cool.
And then several of us are signed up already for Indy.
Yeah.
Which I'm hoping to, I'm going to train for a PR.
Full?
Yeah, for the full.
Let's go.
I'm going to try my best. I've taken it. So far, my PR was right around a 3:15 and some change. So
we're getting BQ time.
That was a BQ time for me. Only
didn't get in. Now let's get in.
So now we're going to try, and honestly, the goal is I would like to try and qualify for New York.
Yeah, let's go.
But I'm going to try to run. I'd like to run as close to a 3 or possible sub 3.
Let's go.
As I can.
Let's go.
So we started doing that right now. So first and foremost, the first goal is to hopefully survive a 5K with my son if he can run it that fast. And he don't kill the old man.
Yeah. And if you get beat by your son, I'm going to roast you, bro.
You know what? If he runs that fast,
he's going to beat you.
We did the Christmas light 5K. It's like we're supposed to be looking at Christmas lights, and
we're trying to not die.
And then.
Beautiful lights, but who knows?
We're just here to enjoy this.
All just streaks.
Well,
yes.
A couple of the guys that are going to be, I think, freshmen this year is Blake's son, Jackson. I think he's going to be a freshman. A couple of guys.
That's right.
So they
roasted it.
They get out and they're roasting. They're running fast, and Merrick runs right with them. I was pretty pleased, and I told Travis we were all running. I said, "Hey, man, somebody has to provide safety for these guys.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to suck it up and go.
Got to go.
This is not my plan, man. I was really wanting to look. I didn't see a Christmas light one, man.
That's exciting, man, because if you've got, if you're, very little training at this point, and he's just naturally good at it. It's exciting where this could.
I'm hoping
where this
that
could
he
go.
can see this to be positive for him because he is. You
got the build for it.
I feel like he can be really good at it.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty lofty goal.
I'm gonna tell you, I think runners, first of all, are the coolest, hippest dudes on any campus, anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, and this is a hill I'll die on. I think runners, the cross country runners, track dudes that are running like the mile, the 800 meters, they're the toughest dudes on the planet, bro.
Yeah.
If you want to think you're tough, go run 4 laps at the track as fast as you can.
Yeah.
And have it timed. It's a nightmare. I look at Carter and Zach and the guys for TTU.
Oh yeah, man, those guys are awesome.
They're
too,
awesome, man.
Awesome.
And they're good. They're good kids. And that's another thing. I feel like because the runners, the ones that excel at it, there's so much discipline involved in being that. They're ahead of the curve with their lives. Not just running.
It's helped shape their life too as well.
Big time. I think that's right. Anything else, Jimbo?
I'm good. I'm going to win the Boston Marathon.
Let's go.
You guys are naming out.
Let's go. Let's write it down.
I've been biking and walking.
Let's
That's
go.
been good. Yeah.
Give it to
That's
me.
fun.
That's great.
Yeah, it's not doesn't have a. I'm basically not doing what you said.
Well, let's do it. Let's do this.
So I need to make some measurable things with it, but I've really enjoyed it. I got a electric bike, so I can be out there and enjoy it, but it keeps my heart rate up.
Yes.
And then I bought some shoes from Dusty.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
I've been walking, but it's you said the other day, or was it this podcast? Oh shoot. You had said that Dusty, it took him we're talking about mental health. Like it took you a long while to get to a place where you felt like you needed some help, and it's going to take a minute to kind of. Yeah. So I think that's my encouragement to everybody. It's like no matter what the thing is,
yes,
you may have to consider. It won't take you as long to get out of it as it did to get in it, but just consider how long it took you to get to where you are.
Yeah,
and just recognize it's going to take some time to pull back from habits. And I think rhythms and behaviors,
yes,
when they're married with intention and purpose,
yes,
you're going to get somewhere good. You just have to, it's a time thing.
One of the things that they said in AA that used to get on my nerves, and I love it now because it works, is you got to give time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
stinks.
It stinks, bro.
It's like praying for patience.
Right?
Yeah.
What you're going to get it.
I rarely do. You get the opportunity to earn it.
Yes, and that's it. Prayer was a thing that was annoying to me as a young man because I used it as a Santa Claus list.
Yeah.
And that's not how my higher power, and that's not how my Jesus operates. He's like, I know what you need, homie.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you to realize.
Let you sit in it for a minute. And so time takes time. Yeah. And I want to say to anybody out there that's got a New Year's resolution, listen, I hope you take away from this that we are saying that you can do this.
Yeah.
You are worth it. And if you will just simply take small steps, small, measured, intentional steps, you can get anywhere. Feel free to reach out to me. Even if you don't necessarily want coaching, you can reach out to me to talk about how to begin a fitness journey. Dusty, I know, loves come into his store. He would love to talk to you about how to mental health journey, physical fitness journey, and definitely help you with equipment and shoes and stuff like this. So we are here to help in any way that we can. And so it doesn't have to be a marathon plan. It can be just changing your life for the better plan. If you are struggling with alcohol and you want to get sober, you can always reach out to me about that. And so I think sometimes we forget to mention that. So thank you to Willow Window.
Yeah, thank you, Willow Window.
And we got Express Footwear. We got Sight and Sound. Thank you so much. This is season. We just kicked off our second season. So guys, thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed it.
The Runner Dudes podcast is sponsored by Express Footwear and Runner Dude Coaching and Consulting. Produced by Jimmy Thorpe at sightandsoundcreative.com.